Positive territory as we kick things off on a brand new week here. Moody's with a downgrade of U.S. debt this morning, putting a little bit of pressure on the overall market to kick things off. We are grinding our way back to the upside so far this morning ahead of a big week of economic data, including the latest reading on inflation coming this time tomorrow morning. We'll get CPI at 8:30 on Tuesday. So make sure you're with us for that. We're keeping our eye on a bunch of individual movers this morning as well. Tesla looking pretty strong here. Yeah, India just coming out saying they're going to consider a 5-year tax break on EV imports as Tesla continues to talk to that country about manufacturing, but also obviously getting into that market, which could be huge for them. A little bit of news in the semiconductor space this morning with earnings coming through from Tower. Overall, the group itself showing a little bit of positive momentum here this morning as well. Brand new week. It's Monday, November 13th, 2023. Tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, there's Tesla right now. Day highs so far, 1.3%. Decent move overall. If you have a look at the overall market, there's the Q still struggling to get back to where we ended the week back on Friday. Still negative territory for both the NASDAQ and the S&P here on this Moody's note this morning. We've regained most of this gap to the downside, as you can see there, but overall a little bit of negative impact to start things off this morning. Yeah, Tesla looking great. Number of little small caps popping up here this morning. I haven't seen that for a while, but happy Monday. How are you?
Good. How are you? How's your weekend?
Good, good. Relaxing, which was good. I mean, going into a week where we have, very, very important data coming up. I mean, we're at the back end of earnings season, obviously, but the latest reading on inflation coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, in retail earnings, we'll have a whole slate of that, see how the consumer is doing. As the consumer has been pressed the last little while. Interesting tidbit coming out of the Middle East with a lot of orders for new Boeing airplanes there from the Emirates. We'll also talk about that. Yeah, so lots to talk about today.
Yeah, the 777X, which is, I think, the latest version of that plane for Boeing. So, yeah, Boeing to the upside this morning as well. Just as a quick recap, if you remember back on Friday, it was a pretty muted session across the board, but this is how things ended. The NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, all red, 0.28, 0.21, 0.04, and 0.43. But everything trying to, as I said, get back to the upside here this morning. Yeah, a little bit of news as far as the strike in Hollywood is concerned. We talked about that briefly going back to Friday. Looks like this deal has been ratified, but some cost to come from that as we'll get into it, I'm sure, but as we get going on a new week. Sean is back in the building. Good morning, guys.
It is happy red day, but not necessarily for the markets. You can start red, but you can't end red. Well, I say that, and then, of course, the market will end up down today. But
I know I wasn't here Friday, but I thought Brendan just said muted Friday. I thought it was it was quite a rocket ship up there. I even saw Palantir near $20.
You see Microsoft all-time highs.
Wow.
The chips were
a little bit of a pullback, maybe possibly today.
The chips were big. The chips
yeah,
a lot was
Nvidia.
Tesla had a really big day on Friday.
Nvidia, damn it.
Wow, well, we were. But it is
490.
It is a new day. Nvidia is gonna that $500 on Nvidia almost seems inevitable, but it just seems to always get there. I thought this would stall out for Nvidia at 470. It just feels like we're headed to these tops. Like every stock wants that. Well, not every stock. You know what the ones I'm talking about. Microsoft broke the high. Amazon $2.50 away from it. We'll probably be talking about Nvidia and that recent high as well sometime this week. You got retail earnings this week, and that should be interesting. Walmart with a big high put in on Friday as well. So it's across the board. Not everything was good, but you do have some recovery in some of the Chinese ADRs this morning after Singles Day, and some of the EV names are starting to come back into play. But don't sleep on Tesla. Tesla had been sitting out this move until Friday. So it looks like it might be back on track as well. So keep it on the bulls, at least for now. These bulls, not the actual bulls, because we're
How are the Chicago Bulls doing anyway?
I actually don't know. But DeRozan, who'd he pass? DeRozan passed somebody really big on the all-time scoring list
for
this year. Yeah, it was somebody really big on the all-time scoring list.
Carmelo.
Anyways,
we'll
I don't know if it
check
was
out-
Karl Malone.
We'll have to check out who it is.
You definitely can't date as many youngsters
If
as
it's
Karl
not
Malone.
Karl Malone. Well, he's married, and he had that, his stupid daughter. Shout out to his daughter. I shouldn't say that.
No.
Remember, she was screaming and yelling at the Raptors, and then we couldn't hit a free throw, and we wound up losing by like 2, and we missed like 20 free. It was a good move by her. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I didn't like it either, but
I thought it was pretty dirty, but I mean, we're Raptor fans.
it was Bush League.
We're going to the Raptors tonight, which is why we're dressed like this. Sharif, myself, Brendan, and Neil. And I'm just glad that Sharif's
Stupid daughter.
I'm just glad that Sharif's picking up the tab.
Yeah, of course.
Tonight.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, Sharif, thanks you very much for that, man. Look, everyone's saying Team Sharif in the chat. I am fully on Team Sharif.
100%.
So thank you so much, Sharif, for all of that.
Take that Apple money.
I'm glad how much Apple's going up and how much Meta went up. And how about Lee Auto today?
Lee Auto on the bounce.
Man, we're going to be treated well tonight, boy. This is going to be a great night.
Break out the good stuff.
Thank you in advance, Sharif, man. Much appreciated.
There we go. There, see this, Sean? Over and
Yeah,
over and over and over.
That's on you. That fail is going on him.
You put the fail on yourself.
I mean, it's all good, man.
Phil,
We're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you in advance, Sharif.
I missed that. You volunteering that service tonight, but yeah, no, all good.
Guess I
Thanks,
forgot
man.
about
Appreciate it. It'll be a good night. It'll be a good night. Here is Boeing, as we mentioned, to the upside in a pretty big way here, looking pretty good, back above that 200 not only, but 202, 203 as well, which is a bit of an area. I mean, there's a couple of different angles we can take on this morning. I was just reading this note on China considering reopening things for the 737 MAX as well, which has been grounded in that country going back to a couple of crashes that happened over the past couple of years. There's looks like 2 different orders coming through from this air show. Yep. One from Emirates, as we said, 777X. To the tune of $52 billion. So a couple of positive catalysts here for Boeing.
Yeah, right now, as you mentioned, Brendo, it is the 2023 Dubai Air Show. So we'll keep Boeing on watch, some other players, Spirit Aerosystems, let's keep them on watch going on and while this event is taking place. $52 billion, as you mentioned, totaling 95 airplanes. They're split here between the variations of the 777 and even the Dreamliner. They're going to pick up some 787s as well. Yeah. So keep our eye on the airline industry today.
I've always wondered when these air shows come around like this, if, like, does Emirates just walk in and, like, lay down a credit card and say, I want 50?
They got a lot of money.
Or, like, obviously there's been discussions back and forth before these air shows, but they always get announced at these shows. So anyways, pretty good start here, guys, for the week for Boeing.
Yes. Yeah. Boeing is actually back above 200. This could be, maybe this is the bottom. I don't know if it's the bottom, but Boeing had one of the worst. It wasn't like the worst in terms of percentage pullbacks, but there was this streak in right at the beginning of September, because it started with August 31st. It was just straight down for the entire month with like 1 or 2 positive days, and it was ridiculous. And obviously it had some trouble getting off the schneid. Now it's got a bit of a double top above the 50 period. They've had good news before, but I heard a comment like, this is the year of the wide body out of them. So, last time I checked, like, those ones are making some more bank when they sell them. So a good look for Boeing. I mean, Airbus is also getting some extra orders as well, but like, who cares? Because when one wins, usually the other, because it's really just the 2 of them for the most part. So I like Boeing above this previous 200 resistance level. Higher low got put in. Now you're punching through. The only thing I got to worry about is right about 208, 209, which is $5 from here. You got the 200 period moving average, and then this previous support. There was like that one green day was right in here, 209. I think you get to that level on Boeing today, and maybe you run into some resistance. But man, if this thing can just hold on to 200 today, I think it's got some serious signs to do what Disney couldn't off of its bottom.
Can Boeing fly today? I mean, up 3 1/3. I feel like it's already gone there a little bit. We have to wait for a $200 pullback. I mean, pretty simple. There's a 200 period moving average. It's right at $200. We'll see if it does have a little bit of a dip into that area. You have a nice little top here of 197. I still think you play pullbacks in this name, and that's what I think you're going to be doing today as the market's starting down and look, continuing right now. Nice little downside move. We're always talking about the ES 4400, so it looks like that's going to come into play again. And then, of course, the NASDAQ off of a great obviously we all know what happened last week, but up now to 15.5, 15.6. We have support at 15.4. Let's see if there's a little bit of a pullback right now. Not much action here on the imbalance locator early. So I sort of thought I would call this up and be able to show you guys Boeing, but
Well, Palantir there is. That's
well, Palantir's there. Yeah, we're going to talk about that up here at $20.
That was a big mover, man.
Yeah, big mover. Look at that.
Before we get back,
18 to 20.
I just want to do this. Mr. Westermeyer in the chat, one of our friends, who gifted us our Magic 8 Ball, says, got 2 sick kids trading with me today. Could Zoe and Walker get a shout out? Of course they can. So hi, Zoe. Hi, Walker. Make sure Dad makes good decisions, brings home the bread and all that good stuff, and enjoy the show. It should be a good one. And get better first and foremost. Let's do that. So enjoy the show today. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Sure. Trying not to get too distracted.
My kids will be here Friday. My kids will be live in studio Friday. So
PA day on Friday, right?
Shout out. I believe so. Must be. I even think Baxter's making an appearance.
I think it is a PA day.
Anyways, Mr. Westermeyer.
I think it is.
You know, hope your kids feel well and everyone feels well in the household. And yeah, enjoy the show. It should be a good one. And let's go back over to the desk.
All right, let's touch on Tesla here. Up another one looking pretty good this morning, as we said. 1.1%, trying to get back to 218. Nice look for Tesla this morning. A couple of different notes. EV charging deal for them coming out of Europe and the UK. There's also a positive note I saw in regards to China this morning on Tesla. So, I mean, yeah, it was one of the ones that was pretty impressive, to say the least, off of that early dip on Friday to 205, but ended the day basically at the highs. Here we are, another 1% this morning for Tesla.
Yeah, EG Group, which operates petrol stations, we call them gas stations on this side of the ocean in England, looking to adopt about 20,000 fast-charging Tesla-style EV chargers. They currently have about 600. This is the same company that owns ASDA, so people in England will know ASDA as the supermarket. There, you recall in February, Tesla announced that it was going to open up its fast-charging for other players to join as well. BP, another British company, coming out last month saying that they're going to acquire about, they're going to order about $100 million worth of Tesla fast EV charging. So just another company adopting the North American standard, which is Tesla.
I was going to mention this Model 2. I was trying to find a picture of this again. There was a picture, like an actual rendering of this alleged cheaper Model 2 floating around on Friday. I'll come up with it again, but yeah, there was a much more clear, kind of looked like a hatchback floating around. I'll come up with it again, but it looked really cool, guys.
Yeah, they try to find a way to make it look cool. Let's be real for a second. And this is just the beginning. Actually, Sharif was talking about the whole, you got to have, condo buildings got to have the chargers. You're seeing adaptation at stations as well. So this is just part of the whole rollout that needs to happen. Now, part of the whole roll of the market to the upside needs to have the EVs in it. Well, it doesn't need to. The market could care less. I mean, the market powered on without any of the EVs having a good week last week, so it didn't really matter. But it was nice to see on Friday, just given how bad things were for the entire EV group on Thursday. It was bloodshed. And you're not all the way back, but a good portion of that got put back in on Tesla's part on Friday. So I'm looking at this range here on Tesla. It's where we closed. Opening range top was 213.50. Because I'm only looking at 2 days, I can just go to like a 3-minute chart. It's actually a little bit easier to be able to do that. So where we closed was a very, very tight range, opening high, and then it turned into support, and you closed right around 214.5. So 213.5 is that level there. Then I simply look at that and say, if you can hold this into the support area, I want that to be your base of operations, looking for some longs in this name. Now, it's not the only one that bears watching, because by percentage, I think Rivian's been giving you fantastic opportunities on a daily basis. Not always good because it's been going down, but this is right on the precipice. So on the daily chart, like 15 is pretty much all that stands between it and another 15% to the downside. So while Tesla is up and looking strong, Rivian's trying to hang on to this 15 level. Obviously, if it breaks 15, starts heading down, and we're trend down, all that good stuff, Rivian's been a good short. But I'd like this one to have a chance off that level here. It would be spicy. because it could have an inside day off of 15 and still be able to give you 3, 4, 5% if it gets down there. So that one's going to be in play in addition to Tesla. I just much more prefer Tesla to look long early as opposed to Rivian, where I would not want to get trapped at that bottom. But if you hold it at the open, then this could be the day that it actually makes a bit of a move to the upside, because it got to the top and then couldn't break it out on Friday. So it's a little bit weaker than Tesla. If the EVs roll over again, Rivian breaking 15 is probably going to be low-hanging fruit.
Oh, yeah, Rivian. I was actually looking at that Rivian level there, 15 today as well here. On Friday, we went to Sherway, and here is the Tesla Optimus. It's, I guess, just a model here. I thought it was pretty cool, though, checking this out. Yeah, it was pretty awesome, a little bit of there. And then over to the left was all the different models. Man, they had the Model S Plaid in there. That was looking at Sherway. Yeah.
Of that robot? I thought they were supposed to be smaller than that.
Well, the thing is, it's also on, come over to the thing here. It's also on a podium here. You see, so it's like, I think it's probably, we could probably look it up.
It looks over 6 foot.
Probably 6 feet. Well,
It's hard to tell.
I'm just saying, like, it's on a podium. Like, it's on like a shelf here. But yeah, it's pretty huge, man. Like, look at the size of its mitts here.
That is big.
Feet. Like, you know,
We're
it
screwed.
has hamstrings like Sharif over here. Like, this thing is huge. So anyways, it's
Don't tell that to Renata.
it's pretty impressive. Anyways, I tagged it, said new AI trading bot, but I don't think you want that thing hitting keys. I think it's better to program it in.
No.
Okay, but for Tesla, I still think that this, you know, anything of a dip down, did you look it up? How big is it?
They're talking about it, but they're not letting us.
Okay, that's fine. 214, 215 here on a dip buy for Tesla. I think it could get going here today. Needless to say, market is down, Tesla is up, market's falling, so we can see 212, 213.
this can't be right.
Or so back in. How big does it say it is?
No, I Googled it, and the first thing said 5'8",
Yeah, that could be right.
160 pounds. That looked a lot bigger than that's.
No, I mean it could. That's what I'm saying. It could be 5'8". It's on a platform. I don't know. Well, if you Googled it, I mean, whatever
I
it
know,
says.
but you're literally standing next to it. It does not look like it's
I know.
5
Remember,
feet.
I told you it's not.
I know,
I'm
but
not
it's-
really beside it there.
Okay,
Anyways,
it doesn't matter.
all right, guys.
Steal Sharif's pants, someone asks, because he was wearing yellow pants in the shirt. Oh, God.
Let's bring in Michael Noss here, CMT over at Trade Ideas, to kick things off on a Monday. Good to see you, Michael Noss. It is a interesting spot here for the overall market, but interesting week coming up as well. I mean, it seems like every week there's something in relation to this ongoing inflation talk around the overall movement in the market coming up tomorrow, obviously, CPI. You want to dig in, obviously, on the technical side of things, talk specifically about the 200-day here.
Yeah, so this actually came from a question and request of our clients, which is something that we do a lot. Basically, this client was wanting to trade with the trend more from a swing trading point of view, but didn't have a simple way to define trend. Was a newer trader, wasn't experienced, I guess, at looking at charts. So as always, I like to do some quant stuff. So yeah, we're going to talk about the 200-day moving average. So you can see just from this chart, and we'll go over this a little more in the next chart, that price doesn't often respect the actual position of this 200-day moving average. And, my initial response to this client would be, hey, you can look at the 200-day moving average, and if it's above that, maybe define an uptrend, and below it, define a downtrend. The issue with that is you can see we even just poked below that 200-day moving average at the bottom of this recent pullback, and that's actually where I was on here saying, hey, I'm buying stocks aggressively at this level. So it made me think, and I was, reading some studies and using ChatGPT, of course, to summarize them. And I came across one that was interesting, that instead of looking at the position of the moving average, to focus on the slope of the moving average and use that as a simple way to define trend. So this next chart actually does a really good job of highlighting what I'm talking about here, where, all after the 2020 collapse, you can see an upward sloping 200-day moving average that would have kept you in the market in an uptrend for a very long period of time, like 2 years there. And then a little bit of choppiness, but then the moving average starts to slope lower. And if you had either looked short or started trading shorter term or even just walked away from the market, you would have avoided pretty much all of the mess here. Then the 200-day moving average flips higher again, 6 to 8 months ago. And again, you enjoy this nice uptrend that we're seeing now. So I took this, and I always want to test things to see if what I'm reading online and everything makes sense. So the next chart I have here is actually a back test of owning the S&P 500 when the 200-day moving average is sloping higher and ignoring it when the 200-day moving average is sloping lower. Now, the returns are pretty good. But what I want to point out is the flat parts in the back test, and those flat areas around the year 2000, around 2008. All right, these are pretty substantial bear markets, and you do a pretty good job just sidestepping bear markets entirely. So as we do in Trade Ideas, we built a scan. So I have a scan now in the system, and if you just email info@trade-ideas.com or reach out, I can share this with you. That is essentially looking for stocks that are above but close to an upward sloping 200-day moving average. We also have the inverse for the downside of downward sloping 200-day moving average. So if you're a trend trader and you're looking for a way to get in with a trend, I think this is a really good way to do it, because not only are you looking at the position of the 200, but focusing on that slope, only buying things that are above and upward sloping and shorting things that are below downward sloping. But I can't walk away without giving you guys some ideas. So I actually pulled some of the ones that I like the look of the most out. And the first one here is FDX. So we have just FedEx Corporation. You can see, just like the market, bled through the 200-day moving average a little bit, but this thing has a nice slope to it, and it's been sloping up for a long period of time. Knowing that the statistics are on our side with this one, I like the look of it just over this little flag that we're having now. It's a very nice, tight little range. FedEx is a really interesting stock, maybe going into the holidays or some seasonality there as well. The next one for the upward sloping is the Skechers, I guess, a shoe company, I think, if my youth serves me right. Again, you can see it fighting this upward sloping 200-day moving average for a period of time, and putting in a pretty decent resistance area. Actually, I have to expand my chart out. My eyes are getting old. Around $50, give or take. So if it can hold above that $50, then I'm interested in maybe owning some of the Skechers. Again, knowing that there's some statistics on my side, owning this when it's above the 200-day moving average. So quickly, we have two to the downside. We have Lyft here, below a downward sloping 200-day moving average. This one was very interesting to me because of the strength in Uber. Uber's been killing it, and Lyft, you can see here, can barely get above this downward sloping 200-day moving average. So interested in shorting this one on a breakdown. Last but not least, we have NASDAQ. The NASDAQ ETF seems to be dramatically underperforming things like the CME and CBOE, and again, just can't get going above this downward sloping moving average. So if you want to give this a shot, we still have our 30% off sale going on for the rest of today. This is our early bird sale to thank the people who have joined the test drive, but between you and me, even if you didn't join the test drive, Trader TV 30 will still work to save yourself 30% off.
When you went back and pulled that data out, that was on the index itself, not individual stocks. So you're looking at, individual stocks moving in relation to that.
Yes, and for now, but as I get more and more interested in topics like this, I go deeper and deeper. So stay tuned. There may be an algorithm coming that's looking for this this sloping 200-day moving average, because it was very, very interesting to me. Normally we're told, hey, look for a moving average to act as support or resistance or something like that. It's in all the textbooks. It's what we're taught all the time. I didn't see as much mention as, hey, ignore the position of the moving average, but just pay attention to the slope as an indicator of whether or not we're in an uptrend or a downtrend. So yeah, this is something I'm going to explore further, and I might have more cool statistics for you guys soon.
Great stuff. Michael Na, CMT over at Trade Ideas. Have a great week.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Sir Michael. And one of the things, the first thing I thought there was like, oh my goodness, let's take that concept to some names that you want something to happen on. I was actually thinking about Disney. But I was looking at the weekly. Because if you think about like sloping moving averages, this is a weekly on Disney. And I'm saying this chuckingly because the Marvel movie didn't go very well. I, for one, am shocked. Very, very shocked that didn't go very well this weekend. I can't believe how that didn't do well. But it is very true. Like, it's not, sometimes when you look at something like this and say, okay, look, the slope is dead, my first thought was, hey, there's a couple of ways you could play this even as a day trader. When you have that trend and when you reject it, forget about using it as support and resistance, but why not have a look at this, and maybe I'll go away from the weekly and put up the daily because it's almost depressing looking at a weekly chart of Disney. But if you look at when the slope is down, when it retakes that 200 period moving average as a day trader, reconfirms the trend to the downside, it's generally been good. Like, closes below, shorts right away. Closes below, shorts right away, and the slope is still good. This one doesn't close below, so it bounces, closes below. There's your one time where you would have taken a hit, and then the day after it would have been good. So, a lot of times we look at support and resistance as it's a great tool, and as a day trader, obviously intraday it's a big deal. But on the bigger time frame, you usually want a couple of things that go with it. And I find like looking at the slope of it makes a lot of sense. We talk about things having that linear move, that 45-degree angle intraday, like when Palantir goes up, it tends to do that. When you see something like that on a 200-period moving average, 200 on your daily, like that is ridiculous amount of strength. And it's going to be obvious in that situation, but when it's not quite as high slope, you might miss it, and it is worth paying attention to. So thank you, Michael, for putting in all that work. I'm guessing the weather wasn't as nice out there as you thought, so you probably spent some time on them charts.
Yeah, he was saying that he was doing that. People want to know how many trees the guy chopped down, but I was wearing my tree chopper shirt last week there, the red and black.
The tree chopper shirt?
Yeah, the Bounty. The guy, he has the
Isn't it like Paul Bunyan? Paul Bunyan.
Exactly. I like his Lyft idea, to be honest with you. I mean, I still think Uber is going to be, not going to be, is the winner here. And I just don't know if Lyft, I mean, like Michael said, he keeps on bouncing its head on this 200-period moving average. So, that's looking like a good short to me right here. I mean, you have support 1150, 1160-ish, like up into there, 11. I mean, we're not going to get anywhere near there anyways today, but this is a nice downside move, and I think you can get to $8 again. So I really like this Lyft move back. They already reported you had a huge move up, couldn't hold it, now all the way back down, as opposed to how Uber looks right now. So I just, I really like, I mean, I didn't even realize Uber broke through $50. So, I knew it was at 50. We traded it, but I just look at the two different names here. One obviously is winning, one is losing. So I stay long. We're still long Uber. I really like this name, although we're down 1% here today as well. Some of these names that have been pretty high flyers, wouldn't be surprised if they do pull back a little bit. So I just put out the sticky note. It's out now. And Palantir down here into 19 would be pretty sweet if we can get a bid down into this area of support. So watch out for, again, I mean, this battle back a little bit, but watch out 0.5. If the NASDAQ can dip down, Palantir is definitely on my radar here for a dip buy.
Solid.
Cheap.
We're just talking about Netflix. Let's touch on some analyst moves for you here to get things going on a Monday. Upgrades and downgrades, Oracle, HP, TripAdvisor, P&G, Unity, after what happened last week. Downside, once again, from Wolf this morning, Plug Power on here. Para, interesting, from Bank of America on this strike note. You would think positive. And Southwest here as well, guys.
So about Plug Power.
Yeah, that's Cherie's best move.
We actually,
out of it.
We were saying on Friday that literally the best trade sometimes that you make is the one is covering something, right? It's like it's the loss that you don't take, or it's the out that you find, or just the decision to get away from it. Very clearly, like down another 5% here today. When the second you hear going concern issues, right? Like the first thing you think of is the stock going to zero, when it's bankruptcy, all of that good stuff. It still has a short float that I think you need to respect. I'm just going to double check. I don't know if it would have been updated. My guess is it's probably not different from Friday. Okay, it's still 26%. So it's still. My guess is it's probably not still 26%. There would have likely been some short covering on news like that, going concern. Take some of that money when it did make an early bounce. But I don't know where the bottom is going to be. I just feel like when you're in this particular spot, I always want to look short first unless it's breaking out. There was multiple opportunities to have this one to the south side. It was pretty darn nasty. It was one of the only things you could have been short the entire day, more or less, that would have worked out for you. Everything else probably you would have got hosed at some point. But in their case, I look at that bottom. It was about 365 in the morning. It got back up to 355 at the close. I think any pops into that 55, 65 range, just look for the short. If it starts blowing out, then get out, look for the 4. It's not like the other names that have already said they're going to go bankrupt, but it's pretty close to it at this point for me, where I want to be looking for the short until proven otherwise with plug power. Nasty, nasty. Like it was so many stocks were really good on Friday. It was this, and I think Affirm was bad as well. So it wasn't a heck of a lot that if you sat in short pretty much all day that you would have done well. Plug, yikes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, plug. That's what I was saying. I've said that to Sharif a couple times about getting out of that. That was a good one. All right, so a name that was on that list, I think it was on the downgrade side. I shouldn't say I think it was. Unity, down 2% here today. So this name made a 52-week low of $22. Then on November 9th, so last week, comes out Thursday, I guess, 9th, 10th, 11th, Thursday, yeah. It came out, huge move to the upside, right? 22 all the way into an area of resistance up here at 27, 28 bucks. So we ran up to that on Friday. We got going. Now you're going to put a little bit of a red candle in for today on the downgrade. I don't think Unity gets green today. So I feel like any sort of a bump up to and around $27 has some life to it. So I kind of like this move up here, 27.20 or so on Unity into the short. So I think I'm going to be sitting there. I think I'm going to put it right about now, actually, in and around 27 bucks for the short on Unity here. I'm not too worried about anything too much higher. I mean, if we break above this, maybe 27.50 area there, then that's going to be an out. But all I have written down on here for the sticky note today: Tesla, Palantir, Google, Microsoft, Disney. So some key levels there, and most of them are long and dip buys. So I don't want to dip buy Unity again. It's only 10% short, but again, nice move. Obviously, there's the 50. So this company was so bad there off their earnings report, down to 52-week lows. But then look at it get all the way bought back up there. So for me, Unity, I mean, I don't know what was up with that other than a short squeeze. So if they don't like the number, it was bad. It just gave you an amazing opportunity right here to short a bad report. So we got to get short Unity. I might put this on right now that I see this move back up. So I like this play for Unity. If it gets going, it gets going. We could definitely hold this $1 against us. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of Unity here.
Just noting Bitcoin just had an uptick there. There was a couple of equities related to it as well, moving higher. CBOE to launch digital margin Bitcoin and Ether futures January 11th of next year. Everyone waiting abatedly for this ETF to come through any day now as well. We're still hanging out right at 37,000. We are after 9 o'clock. Let's get into everything else you need to know this morning. Sharif's going to lead us off with a look at the market.
44.30, guys. That's where we closed out Friday on the NQ. And guess where we are? We're right back at those October highs. October 12th, we crested out at 44.30. Couldn't print anything above it. Lo and behold, we found that resistance level on Friday. We're below it now. We're about down 1/3% here on the NQ at 44.15. What I'm going to say is look for 44.30 as a resistance level. We break above 44.30. Keep going here. We're looking possibly at 4,500 in face, depending on what kind of a day we have. On the way down as support, look for 4,400. We crested out there on several days between about the 6th to about the 10th, guys. So good support at 4,400.
Busy week, busy morning as well. Let's get into everything else you need to know individually. This morning, if you haven't done so, go to watchlist.tradertv.live. You can scan that QR code, enter your email address, and then you get that from us every single day for free. Has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market. Daily, Tesla, top of the list here this morning. A couple of things to note as far as Tesla is concerned. As we mentioned when we came on this morning, nicely positive here if you zoom out a little bit. So far here in the pre-market, bit of a pullback right now. India, considering a 5-year tax exemption and some incentives for EV imports. Tesla obviously has said previously that they want to start manufacturing in India. Nothing in the way of that is to talk about this morning, but tax cuts or tax incentives potentially here for EV imports.
Yeah, very interesting, because we saw when Musk met with Modi in New York like a few months ago that Modi made it clear to him he's more than welcome to sell cars in his country, but he's got to invest there, and that's why we're talking about gigafactories and more supporting infrastructure there. Let's talk about what Tesla's doing today. EG Group, a British gas station, and another owner of Asda supermarket there, looking to add about 20,000 EV charging stations to the 600 it already has currently installed. We know BP, another company, did that last month. But the real news to me, Brendo, there's going to be a movie about Elon Musk finally, and he was pounding the table on the Joe Rogan podcast. He wanted one about him. He's like, how come there's none about making EVs? This is the real story, baby.
I just saw a note there on, I will 100% be watching that when it comes out. There's a note on NVIDIA, just came through there with a new HGX H200 chip. NVIDIA downside currently, just about to go red here, guys. But yeah, NVIDIA looks like new product launcher.
Yeah, I guess, well, so much for it breaking at
it?
488.
Yeah, like, what was the name too complicated? Like, why is that going down?
I don't know. Yeah, this is NVIDIA here, as Brendan's mentioning it. So it just, it was already pulling back a little bit off that double top in the pre-market at 88. So it's through 85. I think 80 might turn back into support for that. That'll be worth watching, because at some point, the closer it got to 500, you got to think that fade on the daily. So maybe it's already here. Tesla, as good as it might seem to have that big day on Friday for Tesla, just got to keep in mind on a weekly chart. This has been pretty clean, trending recently, like locally to the downside. Obviously on a weekly, your 200 period is going to be pretty positive for you on a weekly chart. But it is a nice bounce. That you put on a Friday, but I don't want to ignore the fact that that's still a bit of a downward trend. We need to hold on to these teens. So I look at that 212.50 area from from Friday, and I want that. Like, it's right in here at the close. Nice consolidation. On Thursday, it was consolidation before it dropped. Earlier in the week, it was your bottoms in there. So this is where I want that long on Tesla. If it can't hold on to that, you get underneath like 213.5, I think you're in a bit of trouble here for Tesla, and then you want to get away from it. So it's a decent looking chart. Thank you very much, Randy.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Randy.
it, brother.
Yeah, you come right when we're talking about
Yeah,
Tesla.
Tesla.
Like
What do you think?
All right, cheers. Randy didn't bring his own coffee.
Monday. That's what I think.
You think it's Monday?
He's not in thinking mode yet.
Factually correct. No doubt about that.
That's all I'm doing.
Oh man, he's interested. I knew
really?
this guy
Excellent.
really
Still-
likes. Really
You're
likes
still on the
oil,
dip buy.
man.
You didn't buy any. Okay, he's still waiting to buy that Exxon.
He likes the dividend.
Got to be patient. Got to be patient. They're still
Likes
coming
the
back.
dividends.
They're still
Very-
coming back.
Very wise investor over here, this guy. Look at this guy. Fixing the bulls. Let us know if you have a different opinion on those, because the market right now is getting to the downside just a little bit. I actually just messaged Randy. I was like, "Yo, bring some coffees," because I never thought driving around and simply watching hockey all weekend would be so exhausting. I want to thank Obi for taking the lead here with Neil on Friday. But watch this. So here's my kid. You got to go to the screen now here, Fabian. So they came in second place.
Nice.
This is him. Here we go. Oh, good.
It's loading. PC load.
There you go.
You did
Okay. So he's doing the gritty. So I just have to. Okay, come on, X. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. So he gets the award. What's going on here with our internet? There you go. It's too bad I can't show it, but there's the gritty there. And then this is the thing that I like the most. Oh, come on. But he starts banging his stick for the very next guy there. So congratulations to Baron. Why is this doing this? No wonder why I'm never getting filled, man. My orders aren't even jumping this market.
For the record,
but anyways,
our browser performance on
why was it doing that?
Our
It's still
trading
doing
PCs,
it.
it's weird. Like
I got to show this to Rob.
platform's fine. I have that issue all the time.
I can't. Anyways.
When I try to show you guys my crypto chart and that's on the browser, you're like, why is it so slow? I'm like, exactly. We can't even play a video. But that's what it's all about.
All Sharif's fault.
There's not enough gritty in hockey and too much of it in football. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think everybody's doing a little bit of it, some kind of a dance now. But anyways, yeah, I think now it's starting to work out fine. But anyways, okay, so that's how my weekend was. You guys do anything exciting?
My in-laws were visiting the entire weekend. We had acro yesterday, but it was
acro's
like a big family. It was It was just a good family weekend.
Yeah.
Like it was like, but they live about an hour
you
and a
off
half
tomorrow?
up north. I'm off tomorrow.
Right, okay.
So what's interesting about it is we have to take all these days off by the end
No, I
of
got
the
to
year.
check how many more I have, actually.
And
I meant to do
so
that.
what ended up happening last year in December with our time off was like basically we hadn't taken time off, and it got to December, and we took a bunch of days off. So I'm like, yeah, I got to start taking some off. And then Brennan's like, we shouldn't be taking off Fridays because of the new podcast. So I'm like,
There's a
okay,
new
well,
podcast?
we're going out tonight for Raptors. The Bills play Monday Night Football. I do have to get the car serviced, so like there's actually shit I have to do tomorrow. But yeah, probably a good day to be able to sleep.
Oh, man,
in,
I have
so
4 left.
I'm taking it.
4 left.
I
got to go find 4 days.
Oh, and
here.
by the way, just because I'm going to book off Boxing Day today. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm saying it out loud.
I purposely never booked that off. Actually, the wife and I, funny thing, Neil, the wife and I were talking about it, and then we know the situation, so I was like, that's one day I can never book off until like the.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I said
It's
not
my.
booking. She's like, why don't you? And I was like,
It's my
not
birthday,
booking it
that's
off.
all.
So,
That's all. Yeah.
all right,
Very, very
happy
sweet.
early birthday to Neil.
Not really. Let's not celebrate that. It's too early. I
Well,
don't want to think about
it's
it.
a month and a half away.
Well, we got time.
We got time. We got time to celebrate it. All right. Happy birthday, Sharif.
Still a ways away.
Happy birthday, though, I
Yeah,
guess.
I'm not ready to do another birthday, Brendo. I don't want to get older
No,
yet.
no, agreed. Agreed. It's not a good thing at some point.
No.
Let's go Alphabet here, downside a little bit. Google 0.5% overall. I mean, huge couple of weeks here to the upside. There's this character.ai. They're going to throw a whole bunch of money at Character AI for another AI investment. Google continuing to, it seems anyways, spread their wings a little bit here and maybe cover all the bases or try to cover all the bases just in case something else blows up first.
Trying to respond to Meta with all these character AI chatbots. Yeah, character AI essentially lets you create characters and talk to them. Google looking to invest some, several $100 million. It looks like it's going to be in convertible notes, but it also exposes Google's TPU, the tensor processing unit, to more real-life applications. So we'll see how well they're able to do against, NVIDIA's GPUs. Should be noted that Character AI, 2 former Google employees are the creators. So, and they only opened September 2022, so very nascent.
Yeah, obviously not something that's going to affect today's price action, but kind of an interesting story here.
Very nascent. That could almost be. I'm not going to hit the word of the day because I feel like Sharif is he'll come up with something even better. But Michael Moss just talked about the slope of the 200 on the daily, and let's just say Alphabet's is pretty good. Looks pretty good to that upside. Now the 50 period does loom. You're seeing it get into this little consolidation up here, and the 50 period looms at 134. It bounced off it previously before resolving underneath. So I think that's our big line in the sand, at least a little bit today. So it could break out Friday's high. Still, 134 would be that 50 period on the daily. So I'm not sure a break on Google there right off the open doesn't run into some sellers at the 50 period on the daily. So therefore, if you're liking the long, I think you want to be looking at dip buys. It was so strong on Friday that you're ways away from that double top breakout of 131. That's the level I liked. That's what I wanted to come back into at some point during lunchtime on Friday. It just never did. The market is falling. It's not falling. The market's pulling back right now. I can't use the term falling. We're down 0.4.
Falling.
Yeah, we're slightly moving to the downside, so I would look at that 131 in Alphabet. But we get up to 134, I would take at least one shot short on Alphabet up there, just because of that 50-period moving average. But the overall trend is pretty strong here for Google.
Look, I have, I'm agreeing with that. So I have a Google marker here of 131 long. So I like the new chatbot talk. I like everything. We've seen Microsoft take out all-time highs on ChatGPT, Copilot, everything like that. So once we start getting some more knowledge about exactly how some of these companies are going to start to monetize everything, and we're getting a little bit more of an idea today, I just think that Google's a buy down here at 131. So again, I apologize because we have some of these crazy wicks here, but look, that's the spot right there, 131. So it was a high on Thursday, then it basically ripped up from 129. We started the day negative on Friday, then have a huge move up, then based out right there at 131. So any kind of a dip into that area, then I think ultimately, I'd hate to let this go. Like if we rip through 131, I already have a bid there. It's okay for the amount of shares that I have, but I don't really want to let this go until we break through 129.50. So I'm going to have to be pretty careful here on how we manage the shares in case we do get run over early. But I'm there to try to bid this 131. I want to see what the NASDAQ is doing here. It seems like you're getting a move down because of NVIDIA. And Brendan mentioned it was a new launch of a new chip, I guess, right? So without knowing why that would be such a negative thing here, it has bounced back. When Brendan brought the story, it did touch red momentarily, but now a nice little bounce back. So still up against the market. So it's not the chips that are sort of leading the NASDAQ to the downside here, right? AMD still up. You're looking at a name, and I don't know, we're not going to get to Microsoft, but we are going to get to the semis. But Microsoft, I was thinking about this name. It's down today, and it just touched all-time highs, breaking through 370. So for, again, these wicks, man, breaking through 370. So I was thinking that we could get a fade back down for Microsoft here today. So my favorite long is Softy down near 365, but it could also be something about that Google trade. So I really do like Google down there. And I think Boeing as well on dip buys, which is the next story. So let's get over to the desk and talk about it.
Yeah, a number of tidbits coming out of this air show this morning, including a new order, it looks like now, for Airbus as well. Saudi talking about 150 A320s. So Airbus traded over in Europe, obviously. But anyways, there's, a few things here for Boeing. I'll zoom in a little, maybe. That didn't work. Couple of orders. Yeah, there we go. 777X, Emirates, 52 billion worth. And then there's this Fly Dubai, 11 billion worth of 787 Dreamliners. So this is a week-long, I'm pretty sure, a week-long air show. So just be prepared. This is going to be full of headlines, it would appear anyways, all week.
Probably get more headlines, yeah. You know what I heard on the weekend? Very interesting little tidbit there. The most overpowered plane, the 757. The most underpowered, I'm talking about large body guys. The most underpowered plane, the A320 that you were just talking about right now. Too small of engines to really get that bad boy going, so it apparently takes a long time to get off the runway. But let's talk about what Boeing did here on the weekend. 95 new planes, possibly to the Emirates. 55 of those are going to be the 777. Between 30 to 35 are going to be the Dreamliner, the 787, the latest of the bunch. The Middle East now makes up 30% of all wide-body aircraft purchases because of their geographical location of being a hub between East and West. So we'll have to see how we do. Look for more possible announcements going into the week.
Yeah, we saw that note from China as well, apparently considering or getting close to reopening the skies in China for the 787 Dreamliner as well. That has been, no, it was the MAX that has been grounded in China for the past couple of years after those crashes. But a little bit of a pullback right now here, guys, for Boeing.
Well, that just might provide some opportunities to be able to get into this one today. Like we like what's going on here, but like remember what this chart looks like on the daily. It's not necessarily the bastion of success. However, at least with the day trade, you're starting to put in a bit of a breakout. The 50 periods got put back in there on the daily chart. You've broken out this resistance, which was sitting at that $200 level. 200 was always a big level. It was just nice when it was support. And hopefully it turns into support again. And I'm talking like pronto, like today, because you had all the last 2 weeks. This is about 197.5. Resistance into support, that's what I like to see. Ideally, it doesn't get anywhere near 197 because that's a little more bullish. If it bounces well in front of it, that's why I look at that 200 level. If you never get a chance at 200, it just means it's that strong. I don't mind the notion of, I want to look long as it's above 200. Until it gets to 208, 209, that 210 area, that's where the 50 is on that's where the moving average is on the daily. So I want to be buying support. If it happens to be the pre-market open, and we're sitting there after a few minutes and there's strength in front of that level, then I'll go for the dip buy. If it tries to fill in the gap, then 200 is what it is for Boeing. I don't want to be short this name today. I suppose if it fails at 210 level, that would be one way to think about a short, but I'm just looking for the longs in Boeing after that little mini break.
I think down there to $200. I mean, I was just typing some stuff there, but down to 200 here on Boeing, I think is huge, man. It's a 200 period, 201 on the 1 minute chart. I like that level. I don't think we break below this 2 bills. So for me, upside there. I just think it's fantastic. Nice move here, holding that 205 area right now. So let's see. I'm not sure you're going to get any dip buy opportunities, but again, another name that seems to be working, especially with the NASDAQ and the ES down. Boeing, I mean, we talked about how bad it was, and now all of a sudden we're talking about how good it is. So this is a name where I'm not sure it's really great for trading, but it's going to be good for a hold, I think, at this point now, as they get through some of the turbulence that they've seen there on their report. And SPR could be another one there, as we talk about. Sometimes we talk about these two names together. Spirit, SPR, there it is right there on New York. So let me just see what this chart looks like. So there we go. As Boeing starts to go, some of these supplies start to go up to the upside as well, right? So there it is. Nice little breakout on Spirit as well, taking through 25 bucks. But again, only actually 100,000 shares seems pretty good. It seems pretty choppy. Must just be one big print in here somewhere. Oh, yeah, there it is right there. 73,000, so one print. But still, breaking above this $25 area, SPR looks pretty nice as well.
All right, let's talk some Chinese e-commerce action here. Alibaba, JD, obviously the two main ones, Pinduoduo moving around here as well. I mean, they all started higher here this morning, but we're kind of tailing off a little bit. We got some data from Singles Day across the board. Sales up, basically, sales increasing for all platforms. There was some cautious talk, I guess, from analysts suggesting that, you know, it was better than last year, but not as much better than I think some were expecting.
Well, we're still hearing a lot about the consumer being still, you know, squeezed a little bit in China. Not surprised there. Let's talk about what the Singles Day is. It's basically it's a gauge for the entire consumer sector in China. How they do on this particular day is kind of indicative. It's a little bit of a bellwether for the retail economy there. Baba apparently putting pressure on its merchants to really lower prices so they can drive up sales, Brendo. But we'll have to see how these three do. PDD, JD.com, and Alibaba, to me, will all be on watch.
Yeah, it's PDD actually a little bit better off than the rest right now. Baba back to basically where we were on Friday. There's Pinduoduo right now, coming back in as well, less volume, but holding higher here, guys.
Pinduoduo, ye of the Sharif just said something when I said that. I have no idea what it was. Triple top on the daily. This is the one. Like this is what I want Alibaba's chart to look like, but it doesn't. So we're looking at Pinduoduo instead. Higher lows on the daily, right into this potential flat top break. It's not a flat top break unless it actually breaks, but pretty strong. And then it started falling in the pre-market. So that 112 that you saw there on the daily, well, you're not going to be there for any kind of a test. Now that plays in both ways at that 112 top. It's about 112.80 above that's a resistance. So I was looking, it has to take out 13 to be a break. You'd almost fade that resistance until it gets to that 13. So anything above 12 and 13 would be the short area. Unfortunately, you're not getting any of that unless you have a big move right off the open. So Pinduoduo, you have to be able to adjust in real time. And if you look at the channel down, there's a wide range here. I think you got to wait till about 106. If you don't want to be diddling too much in the middle. Yes, it's got the close price at 109, so there might be that level. A lot of times we will see a sell the news event. The only thing that has me not already short is that when you look at that daily, you kind of wanted it at 112 and a little bit above that 112. It's sitting at 109.90 right now, so a little bit far away from where I would have shorted the top on PDD, only because this is adjacent and not necessarily. I mean, NIO's a Chinese ADR, but I mean, it's obviously not affected by Singles Day that much. But we're pretty darn close to that $7 on NIO. Just going to point out that low on NIO was 15 cents away on Friday when it bounced, and it's 15 cents away from Friday's low. That 7 even feels very much in play, so I'm going right back to the well with that. I'll be long in front of it first, but you know if that breaks, it could get pretty nasty for them. Juxtapose that with what's going on with Li Auto. Comparatively, there isn't a comparison actually on the chart. NIO has been getting absolutely crushed.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, Baba Singles Day on November 11th. I mean, that was a pretty monstrous day, obviously, as we'll have to find out what the sale, I don't even know what the sales were, but they always are absolutely huge. And it hasn't really moved the stock. This FXI here was something that we've looked at a couple of times. This is the large cap Chinese ETF. So I think this is a buy. I just feel like down here until we break below this 25 and even significantly below it, like 24.50, maybe down in here into 22, just grab all of them. This is like the top. I'll have to go. I could Google the holdings for you guys after, but and I'll probably do that during the show. But I kind of like this down here as long as we can support it through 25 bucks. And the thing about the ETF is you can get out in worst case scenario. This is not going to move down like 10% in one day. Not that I've seen anyways. So be careful with FXI, or maybe even more than that. Be careful with FXI. But that Alibaba, because of, bless you, because of Singles Day, right there, you do have an $80 bid possibly. Again, pretty surprised that we were red on this today, or close enough. Now you're back up to flat. I still think this gets bought up here. $80, a nice little cover. So I think Alibaba can work again, but I'm still in this name, and I love the short up here near 86, 88 bucks. So a little bit of a run up for Alibaba. This could be the next one to short as well. So yeah, a couple names falling down. It's 925 already here, guys.
We're talking about U.S. Thanksgiving, to be honest. It's coming up here pretty quickly. Let's talk about semiconductors as well. Downside for this one this morning. This is Tower Semiconductor. Sharif's going to mention that. We had a couple of notes on NVIDIA, new HGX H200 chip announced this morning. There was downside movement going into that announcement, it would appear. But this group specifically among the strongest, if you go back to Friday, looked pretty good heading into the weekend. So worth a note here ahead of more inflation data coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, guys, look, the revenue for Tower Semi, it beat expectations, but it was definitely down year over year. $358 million of revenue they made on the quarter. The street was looking for $357, so they beat by $1 million. But compared to last year, they made $427 million on the quarter. Profit came in at $342. How, you ask? Because of a one-time payment by Intel for the breakup of the merger. $250 million was the breakup fee paid by Intel to Tower Semiconductor, payable in Q3 of this year. Otherwise, they would have only made $51 million, and compare that to last year's profits, they made 69. So they're continuing to reduce their revenue and profit. I don't think it's a good report personally here. You'll recall that these Intel and Tower Semiconductor got into an agreement to merge in February of 2022, but that's since been dissolved, and the payment was $250 million.
As we were saying, a smaller one in the group, but worth a note as we get to the end of earnings season here. I was just looking at this one, cars.com. On Friday, there was notes circulating, and people eventually found out that Tesla is actually selling new vehicles now on cars.com as well. So a nice move over the past couple of weeks for that one.
Yeah, good look for them. I mean, Tower, let's keep it simple. Tower Semi, if you look at the daily, very range-bound stock, 25, 24. I think you trade off. If you're trading this at all, I think you trade it off those levels. So I think you keep it pretty simple. Look at the way that it trades. I don't know that there's a day trade there, but it seems like it really respects even dollar levels. When a chart looks like this, at levels that are that obvious, it probably means there's not a lot of liquidity, or you'd see a little more activity at key levels like that. Let's get on to some of the rest. First of all, just one quick note here, because thank you, Darwin, but he's like, Neil's anniversary incoming. Who told you? How did you, like, you reminded me, no, I already remembered, but weird. How you knew that? It is coming up. But anyways, I digress. You gotta let me know how you knew that, Darwin. Let me go. I didn't tweet anything about it. NVIDIA is the one that we just talked about, and this is so close. I really thought coming into today that we were gonna get a shot at this $500 level pretty much right away. I don't think it's less likely now at 483, but I want to put that one out there. That would have been the level I wanted short. I don't think I look at that in NVIDIA unless it's right off the pre-market highs. Maybe a 485. If we hold the opening range underneath that, that would make some sense. And then the other name I'm going to look at is that 39 on Intel. Felt like it was a short right away at the open, and the market started falling. So I like the short on Intel, especially with that rejection at 39. I just don't know if we're going to be able to get it. It might be a lower high type short for me on this. It was a great long. This and AMD were great longs on Friday, but resistance is resistance until it's not.
Just with less than a minute to go right now, so we're going to, I'm just calling up Microsoft right now. I want to start getting focused on what we're doing. So Microsoft down here bouncing off 368. Unfortunately, let's go charts load. Bouncing off 368 right now. We're going to wait out for his 365, a little bit of a lower bid. That's what we're bidding here. We're waiting for a Unity pop if possible. That's only going down. Damn it. We should have shorted that Unity at 260 right when we started. I tried to punch short, but it's SSR. So we're going to wait for a little bit of a pop up in Unity now with only 20 seconds to go. And then the other name I wanted to look at was Disney. I didn't get to this really. Another name that's on the sticky note, Disney down here at 86 on a possible dip buy. That's now ripping to the upside as well. So now we have less than 10 seconds. It looks like it's going to be Katrina on the bell. So that's nice. And here we go right now with only 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. All right, so again, Unity instantly with a pop-up. We do get that short that we were talking about. So far, not so far so good. We're just in it right now. But Unity right now with the move back up. We're going to give this name until 28. So we're going to try to average in again here on Unity near 27 bucks. Short early on you.
Unity to the upside.
Yes,
Well, I mean, a little bit. Plug not really popping to the upside. I do want to short the first available pop on this name. Still weak, obviously, after Friday, down 5%, but I want to get something in the south side on that one. Looks like NVIDIA is falling like an absolute rock. Apple with some early strength. And NEO, our favorite friend, is bouncing. So that's $7. Might not happen right away at the open with an early look to the upside on NIO.
I was trying to watch out what this market's doing here. So Apple's not doing anything. I was just... Apple's going upside up to 186 a little bit right now, but I was just still only on Unity, still trying to watch out as the market's getting a little bit lower. Microsoft coming in, but not as much to our levels yet there. We're still waiting for 65. That might be early on that one. I don't want to step in yet. Okay, so here it comes, 365. So we're starting to get down now, 367 and change. So let's get a little excited as maybe some of these fills might start to come in at some point. So there's a nice move down. Let's just double check in on Google right now. So we're waiting for 131. Maybe this market does have somewhere to go today.
It's starting to come down.
15.4 obviously is a level here. Where you have the 50-period moving average as well. So watch out for 15.4 here on a 30-minute for the NASDAQ possibly coming back in here.
Yeah, here comes plug at least. So this one's starting to get to the upside. It's a continuation, short sell restricted because of what happened on Friday. Oh, do I wet the beak already in the mid-40s? Yeah, 42 lucky number. I wanted to get the first spike there on plug, so we're going to get some in here. I'll probably hold back so that I can add some in the 50 range, but I knew I wanted the short pops in this one. Intel's still not giving you much of an entry anywhere that looks any good. And as you already mentioned, Google.
Yeah.
Google's not going to get 131, it doesn't look like. Google's showing way too much strength to the upside to give us that. I think we talked Palantir, but we didn't show the chart.
Oh, shoot.
Just very, there we go. Very quickly. It is diddling right now, 19.5, $20 level. I mean, the $20 level is going to be a big one. There it is on the daily. So I think this has a chance to break out Friday's high and get to that $20 level intact.
All right, I'm doing the same kind of thing here. All right, so just trying to oh, we didn't get more Unity. I thought we got more Unity there, but we did not. Okay. All right, so far not so great there. We're waiting to get a little bit more here on Unity short. So if that hits, great. Google bounces, Microsoft bounces. Everything seems to be bouncing right now. So let's go to our sheet and see what else we have. We have Disney. So let's have a quick look at DIS here to see if that can hold something. All right, down to 87 and change. We are looking for a little bit lower than that as well on this name. So here for a little bit of a hold on Disney, we wrote down 86, so we're still not there yet. All right, so what's been holding then? Microsoft. So Apple, okay, because I want to get long. Oh, man, look, it's Microsoft 34. Like, what are these things? All right, Microsoft. Sorry about this, guys. My hand's a little jittery there. All right, break 367.50. Are we happy with that being the bottom yet? I don't know. I think we want to slow down until we do see. Like, what are you in?
Plug, but NVIDIA is starting to fly a little bit here.
Okay, so maybe AMD.
So I just got some out of plug at 332 on that first push to the downside. We're short at 42. I'm going to get back on the offer in front of 50s because I like the 50 price a little bit better. But NVIDIA is starting to head into that upside. I don't know about 500, but certainly that 488 to 490 looks like it could be in play for a bit of a short. Did Palantir break out? We're going to go to Brendo in a second. Palantir, it broke that top, so now it's in the dip phase, right? Like there's the high break. Can it hold on above 1970 to be able to get to that 20? Brendo.
A couple of early movers here. Monday.com, software name up on an earnings beat, MNDY, good start. This one as well, 10X, little penny stock moving. FDA has cleared them for a study to take place on a hypertension treatment, guys.
I'm still surprised that I didn't. Okay, we'll have to check out all that. I mean, anytime you get in some FDA news, always definitely, not always, but it's generally
Usually.
pretty good. All right, so it's funny that we missed that Unity top there. We're still not in that one. Meta, though, all right, so 326. This was, come on, Meta. This was a good hold here for that Meta level of 326. So just a quick little look on that one as we watch out to see. So there's 326, and then if you look back here on the 20-minute chart, again, that's my 1 minute chart. Hold on a second, guys. There it is right there, 326 holding there. So I think that's going to be a good one. Let's look to get some more love in here for Meta. Sorry about that. What was Tesla?
Tesla's starting to drop. I'm getting a, oh, okay, there you go. I just got into Intel, looks like. Intel just came up and sort of tested the opening range, the early opening range top, but Tesla's falling like a rock here. So much for holding that support, Tesla. You're getting into that zone, 213.5. If it holds there, it looks pretty decent. Oh my goodness, I forgot all about Coinbase. Coinbase.
Are you smelling Sharif's food? Is that what that was?
Yeah,
I saw a little sniffle there.
Sorry, Sharif comes out with food at this time every day.
He's blowing it over here. Like that's kind of gross, though, if anything else, man.
Why would you do that?
What exactly
so
is this
weird.
guy doing?
He's literally wafting.
Like, I know
his
he's excited
meal
about the
over
beers
here.
and everything tonight.
91 Coinbase. Just
You're
I'll leave it at
wafting
that.
that stuff over
90.
here, bro.
Well, you got to be kidding me, dude.
I'm trying to host a show here, dude.
It does smell good.
This guy, man, 12 eggs, never looked better.
It's probably more like 7 eggs.
I don't know. How many eggs is it in there, Sharif? Oh, it is 12. I thought I was making that shit up. That stuff up. Okay, just enough. Okay.
You can't justify it by just saying, it's only the whites, man, only 2 yolks. That's what you could say if it's 4 or 5. You can talk about like a normal, whatever. It's fine. Okay, so back to stocks for a second. Short Intel here to the
is a living machine.
bottom. He is an absolute machine.
I mean, you know, what
he was telling me some of his workworkouts.
Right.
Like
Exactly. So there you go.
Like his leg day workout. That's like my leg month.
Right.
I'm not, literally, like the volume that guy does in one session, I might do that much on like quads for like the entire month. But I guess that's why Sharif is Sharif. You know, that's what's up.
That is why he is.
It's ridiculous. Good for you, though. Good for you.
All right. So, yeah, he probably should get a chicken coop. You should think about that. I don't think your condo would let that there. And how big is your balcony?
My sister-in-law has chickens. That's
Yeah. She lives in.
No, the one
13 hours north.
No, different one. The one in Guelph.
One. Oh, okay. That's not too bad. You definitely can start to get some chicken coups going on there. Okay, so. All right, real quickly here as we go. This meta just keeps on bouncing off sort of that same 326 level. The problem is that the market, I'm trying to find shorts rather than longs right now. So if there's anything sort of setting up on the short side of things, all the ideas, and this is part of the problem, honestly, with what I was talking about here, was just getting set up one way and not really looking too much the other way. The market is getting to the downside. I did have a bias to the long, but nothing's really chopping in to the level that I thought maybe. Let's go over to AMD. We did see some strength or some movement, at least in the semis here today. AMD at 50 is great, right? I mean, AMD, that's Square. AMD down here near 115. I was just looking at Square. Actually, Square brought all the way back into $50. That sort of hit on a little bit of a radar as well. So watch out for Square down here near 50. But again, now it's already at 51.
AMD's just tanking.
Yeah, maybe it is.
The chips are tanking right now.
Maybe that's the one we need.
So very quickly, like I said, I got into Intel. I took some out pre-market lows. I'm going to add to this. The way the chips are going down, I want something at 40 if I can even get it. So I want to have a couple options. Come to my chart for a second. I was offering in the mid 40s. I'm going to pop that to 40. See if we can't add to this. Plug is continuing its. I had puns for these on Friday. Plug continuing its move to the downside, but respect that bottom on Friday. It got to 320, and that was where we had to cover on the way back to the upside, the last of our shares. So that's 320 for now, looking like it's going to be a good one. I really thought there'd be, the market weak, I really thought there'd be a dip buy opportunity on Boeing. So that's not going to come to fruition unless you bought it off the pre-market low right away. It's got to be patient. I don't necessarily want to punch the highs here with the market dropping the way that it is. Yeah, I'd say that's a disappointment on Boeing. I thought we'd have a trade there. And then same thing with Pinduoduo. I like Pinduoduo short around 112, but you're not really getting much of an entry there. Oops, I zoomed the wrong direction. There you go, like Pinduoduo spikes to 111. That's where the short was, not 112, and then it falls right back in. So I guess we got to be patient. Maybe short up here off of 111 will make sense if we can get that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm going to cancel my Google and my Microsoft longs just temporarily because we are heading to the downside here. So we gotta be careful with all of this. All right. So with that being said, I still want to be able to look at Google, and I don't want to like chop out of something just because. But AMD right now, we're short at this price. We should get a little bit more if the next time we can get into like the 30s, 40s, or 50s. But here we go. Nice move down for AMD, finally starting to go. So I'm punching. I'll take some out at 92. So this is my first real trade here today. Unity, we're in it, but we're waiting for more from Unity. A little disappointed, to be honest with you, on where Unity is right now. So we're going to hold off on that and see if we can get going. But there goes AMD breaking through 90s. I really liked. It's not. I can't see it on this chart, but it's basically a break down in below this 116.50 area. I'm going to try to go short in through that if we do make that move back down here for what is right now AMD. So we'll see if we can take a bid, but there it is, my first trade of the day right now. We're still short Unity, so I don't want to discount that, but first trade that I normally on is AMD to the downside. Let's see if it works. There it is. We'll take a quick little 30 cents on that one, but it's Unity that we're short, and we're long short AMD and short Unity as the market here. I believe we can run down to 15.4. So let's see if that's a possibility here.
Yeah, and if you look at where it seems like we're headed, that's definitely a possibility. I threw my bid in there. It wasn't there before on NEO at 7. It just broke 20, so you're at 718 to the downside on NIO. I feel like it takes that or gets to that 52-week bottom, looking pretty decent today. I see foul territory in the chat saying Lily is dropping rather fast. It's not alone, man. Apple is running into some pressure. That Alphabet 131 starting to come into play. So it just broke 131 and a half. If you wonder, like there's 131 on Friday. That was, look, on Friday, there was a lot of opportunities late in the day. Right after we ended the morning show on Friday, long consolidation off of 131. That's the reason I would like that level to come into play for us. I don't think we're going to get anything on Boeing. I mentioned this for Coinbase at 91. It's now broken the 91. Where's my 15-minute? There's the channel on the 15-minute. So you had support 89, resistance 89, support 91. You bounce off 89 here, I'd look to short on the way back. Up at 91, although if it carries right through. It's a matter of joining this trend underneath that 91 level. Would have missed the punch there. So we got a couple of shorts on. I am looking for some more here, but I do not want to be hammering these bottoms. I'd rather it bounce back in and give me an entry off of some of these previous support levels.
Yeah, no, exact same. We're getting ready to get out. I mean, it looks like this Unity trade will not work. I'm not going to. I was going to hold it to 28. Remember, I was talking about that, but no, that just made a high of 17s there. We're going to get out if it breaks through 25. So we did good job getting out more there. We got actually the bottom of AMD, well, just by fluke, because we were sitting there when this move happened. Remember, we always trade 75s, so we did get a 75 fill there on AM. Well, here it comes back in again. So, or we got an 80, I think it was actually. We're trading ahead of 75, so we got an 80 fill. Not too much different than where it is right now. It's at 83, but that was a little bit of a look there for me on this name. So let's see if it continues to work AMD to the downside. Remember, we are punching short on this name. So if this can get going even more, I like this 116.60 area for a break of AMD to the downside. So let's wait to see if that comes through. It looks like it's doing it right now. 116.50, 116.70. I mean, we're already short, so 116.50 on a breakthrough for this name, good to go. And then Unity as well. We talked about that a little bit, not too much as I thought. Ooh, I thought I canceled my Microsoft bid. Okay, I got to get over this one because I don't want this Microsoft anymore.
Yeah, you got to watch out. It's starting to get a little heavy in the NASDAQ. You're about 0.7 to the downside. I mean, the ES is about half that. So it's marginally better, let's just say. I've now put my offer in just above 90 on coin. I do want to pick some of that up. I got to get over to Google. because that's starting to come back in. Not there to 131 yet. Plug bounces off that 321. Remember we said watch and respect that bottom from Friday. So the next pop into the upside, I'm looking to fade this off of that high and where we close, 353. So if it gets above 40, I'm looking to reload that short on Plug Power, if we can even get it. And then there's Palantir. So again, I'm just sort of still in the same two names. Palantir, it never ended up holding Friday's highs. Clearly, you guys can see that now. It looks like a stair step to the downside. I would have thought we'd be pressing that 20, but if that's a rejection of Friday's high, stair step down indicates take the second step, and the second step is off of 1950. This looks like it's almost like a 20 reject because it got to 1985. Brendan?
Just bringing an interesting note on Lyft and Google, guys. Alphabet reported a stake of 3.7 million Lyft shares at the end of June 30th. Those have now been sold. So Google getting out of Lyft completely. So 3.3% here for Lyft today.
Which when I saw that this morning, I didn't even know that they had a stake.
No, I mean, I'm just like, what are they even
I'm like,
doing?
why did they have?
Well, they have Waymo and all that stuff.
There's probably a story that explains it, like why they had a stake that makes logical sense that I just don't know. So reload Intel just now, looking to see if I can get Palantir with that stair step to the downside. Is Google here for the bounce? I'm like, I think we're close enough to the support. 130, 140. It's not there. It's not quite there. Do I nibble? Nibble, 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 nibble. All right.
Google?
Yeah, Google at 130, 140 as the market's trying to bounce.
I mean, that's a lot. I like that 131, but
every time we're dip buying at the open, the mistake is usually getting a price that's away from the price that I want and then let it get there. So I'm going to go away from that, wait for 131. It's probably just going to come in here in a few seconds because usually I'd be in and then I'd be stopped out, and now it's going to come to 131. Affirm, another one that was setting up for 23s. Here's a firm on Friday. If you guys were watching the show, yada, 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 23. Bottom range, didn't break it to get to 23. This is a bit of a flat bottom break if this gets well underneath 2175. For now, it's trying to hold, but it feels like racing into anything has been a little bit of trouble here because I don't want to chase bottoms and short bottoms necessarily, but I don't want to completely miss out on these opportunities. So Palantir was a new one for me. I thought it was going to be holding this breakout. Instead, it rejects that breakout, and we take the stairs down.
I'm just a little bit nervous here because, first of all, we just reloaded it. So let's hit the siren on that one for AMD. Oops, I don't have my Stream Deck open, so no sirens for you. Right there, I got it open now. There it is. Nope. Okay, I'll think. Do we not have? Oh, there it goes. Now it opens up. Yeah, just as you hit it, it went open. So it's all good. Right there. So there's AMD on the reload. There's a couple outs for us down near 116.66. Again, I still don't. I mean, I did talk about that Google long down there at 131. So that's something that we've shied away from that we could have stayed put with. And then that Microsoft came in by accident. I actually thought that we canceled it. So there it goes in and out. So I think that if you're here to learn, which hopefully a lot of you are, that's easily the number one thing that I think we can both teach back and forth is that if you're into a trade that was either an order that was left out there or something, please just regroup and don't worry about it.
You don't have to hold it.
Exactly. Just don't worry. Just, do you. But at the same time, make sure you get out. So, it doesn't matter. I was long at 367, but able to get out there for like a 5-cent hit, which is now saving me a little bit on that side. So, I still like a break of 116.50. So, if we get that on AMD, it's a level that I want. So, if that comes in, we're going to watch out for that. So, with that being said, I'm going to just keep getting some out here on the bottom because, if it breaks back down below 116.50, I'm putting on a bigger position. So, there it comes in. I still think that the NASDAQ can get to that level of 15.4, which is right here. It's not even that far away. That's 15.420 now, and then a break lower. And then if that hits, do we continue? So that's why I want to at least look at that AMD and give it a shot if we do take those levels out. So let's pay attention to that AMD trade down there on the downside. So that's something there, breaking, and then unfortunately, we have to flush ourselves down this toilet and put a big fail on Unity. I just thought this name was going to work, and it didn't. It started the day down 2%. Look at this kill to the upside right now. So I'm holding 20.
Unity was my worst stock on Friday.
Yeah, okay, so that's good. So it's definitely not trading the way that either one of us thinks. So maybe we'll stay away from Unity. I was going to give it up to 28, one more try. So if it takes out 28, then we'll get out of Unity, and I'm fully aware that that was not a great call. So we average in, and then out. So turns out that we lost about 30 cents on this Unity because more of it was right here. Remember we said we're going to give this to 28, so we did, and it's an L. One more shot there on you. What's up, Brendan?
Energy names, guys, showing some relative strength here as the market makes a fresh low. Oil, day highs here, up now 1.05%. All of these looking about the same, lagging a little bit, but there's an XOM, but energy stocks relatively strong so far.
Aha, Randy, you should have bought that dip. He's still waiting to pick up XOM.
Wow, Randy.
The name here's something that's absolutely flying. I'm like, what is going? Thank you in the chat. Shout out to Rivian. Well, everyone that mentioned Rivian. Not shout out to Rivian. They can do whatever. But big, strong move up 2%.
Look at Tesla.
I mean, Tesla was to the downside early, and this one just immediately rocket ship to the upside. It could be just a very clean break off the $15 level. So if it holds on to 1560 to 75, like this area here from this area here from Friday afternoon, I think that can be a nice base of operations. In the chat, it was a very good point. Someone's like, yeah, isn't Intel relatively strong? Okay, Intel's down double what the NASDAQ is. However, it didn't break the low and fall further. So in some regards, at the open, it is relatively strong. But I just like the rejection of 39. It's a stair step down. I can stop it out locally for about a 5-cent hit, and it's giving me like 15 cents, 10 cents on rinse and repeat. So it's setting up, and I favor the short underneath 39 even. However, I do acknowledge, since the open, it is not exactly falling all over itself. Palantir, which we just jumped into, could be a short offensive. Yeah, I was about to say. Palantir, similar trade, rejection, short off the bottom, and then look at it absolutely fly right through. So we lose about 7 cents on Palantir. We'll slap the fail on that one, although I'm not on the fail page. There you go. Slap the fail on that one. So Intel's still looking okay. I just cannot get over that silly move. It's not a silly move, but that move in Rivian in light of what I was seeing in Tesla. I always want to note strength, relative strength and weakness and try to join it where I can. I've said Tesla twice now without showing you. Tesla was falling like a rock. Now it's starting to rebound. So Rivian was already strong. I'd much rather find a long in Rivian than go on over to Tesla here, which is strong in its own right. It's just Rivian is on a mission off that 15 level.
Yeah, I have something to talk about. Tesla as well. You were just talking about it, so I just got short. I'm short until this breaks 216. Like I did not think that this move was happening. Right back up to the 200 period here. We crashed early. Like this is the thing. We talk about this all the time, man. And now I'm not following my own thing. Like they have a huge move and then the retracement back up. So let's just see if we can actually be right a little bit here and try to play this the other way. So what I mean by that is instead of trying to catch that bottom, let's see if we can find a top here if it wants to pull back. So we have a decent amount of shares, but we are short right here at 90s now. So hopefully a little bit of a pullback into 215 would be appreciated for sure. And then we'll have to see what's happening from there. We did get out. We basically have nothing left of AMD. So that one's going to be awesome. We got in and out of that. We did really well to do that. So in and out of AMD, definitely only have like 5% left. So this one's going to work out and be a good trade there for advanced micro devices. The one that's of a little bit chippy here. The thing is we wrote down, there it is, now we're back into the money. We wrote down Tesla buy 213, 214, but it cranked right through it so badly down into 211.50 there that's kind of changed up a little bit of what I thought there on Tesla. So we'll play the reverse, play that other side of this trade and see if Tesla will come back in here for us. There it comes. Yes, sir. Nice move back in. Tesla now. Let's ring. Oh, we just missed it. We should have got some bids in the 70s there. Tesla right now, so far so good, but not great.
The market's still firmly to the downside.
Yeah.
I mean, we're holding 0.7 down. There was just a bit of a curl. I thought in this channel on Coinbase, you might get all the way up to 91, but it just rejected a 90 break. So instead of looking at that at 91, we get the stair step down here at the 90 level. So I'm into coin for the first time today. Intel's starting to come up with plug power. We're able to get a reload on plug. It holds on to that Friday afternoon, late afternoon close high, whatever you want to call it there, at 355. If that's the high of the day, I want to make sure I'm getting some out in front of VWAP, but then trying to hold pretty much throughout this entire move. That little dip, this could be the way to get into Rivian. off of Friday's high. So Rivian, which has been flying, is still up 2%, but there's a bit of a pullback happening right now. This is where I want to look for that dip buy. I feel like that's going to be the one chance to get into it. And then Google, I wanted to check out on Google, but I guess it's not at 131. Otherwise, would have been filled. I am still on the bid.
Where's Softy?
Same thing with Neo. Neo obviously didn't get to 7.
All right, we are we're about our first Dollar Club member coming through, and it is just pennies. All right, Professor. Not yet. Professor making the early call here. We're 90 cents in the money on this Tesla trade, so you might as well put that on the board. And all right, Professor, we'll do it now. There it is, 98 cents in the money right now on Tesla. So, I mean, I'm only out of 30% of this trade. So let's figure out what we want to do now as it's trying to get lower and lower and lower. There it is. Okay, so let's just take this. There we go. We'll take that officially right there. So we'll go props up. Anybody that shorted that Tesla there with me, there you go. Congratulations. It's a huge move to the downside on that play. So hopefully it continues to make a little bit of sense there and fade out, especially if this market goes. Okay, I canceled AMD. We should have shorted that up there. We're already pretty short here. We'll put an offer now. We should be shorter. That's stupid. I backed away from this trade. Like I was, not that I was scared of this or anything like that. It's just we were so short Tesla that I didn't want to blow it on this trade right now. But we ain't blowing anything. There goes AMD to the downside. Oh, we had a $1 winner for Tesla. It's about to be $1 right now for AMD as well. So hopefully that can come in. Unity as well. Nice win on that one as the market's starting to come back a little bit. There's Unity. So there's the fade off 28. We were a little bit patient. We got 27.80. We just took a fill at 60. So hopefully that name can come back in as well. AMD is the mistake of the day for me so far because we called that huge short through 116.50 and I didn't take any of it. Let's see if we can get a little bit more short on the way back up. And then Tesla, we did get a little bit of a bottom pick there at 214. So let's see how far this one goes down. Now 213 and change. Missed opportunity there. At least you got to some
jump
numbers.
it. Well, I took the long in Rivian, so.
All right.
I mean, the thing about Rivian is, as strong as it is, I mean, if Tesla takes out the low, I've always been saying, like, if Tesla takes out lows, I never want to be long Rivian. I want to be looking to join. Today, Rivian was leading the way, and then I joined the Rivian trend. So I probably deserve to take a little bit of a hit there on that one. Coinbase just bounced in front of 89, so I took a little bit out there. We make sure we ring the register on the way down. Although this market looks like it does want to flush, here's my change of plan on Intel. Now this looks like a great level for the short. The futures keep making lows. So it's a scalp trade to the short side, but suddenly, like if we don't make a fresh low here, like what happens when the NASDAQ catches a bit of a bid or some of the chips catch a bid? I mean, Intel is just going sideways and it could break back out. So I'm only holding it to the local bottom. I was gonna say, hold the entire short into the pre-market lows. That was the initial look, but it's looking way too tightly coiled. If it runs stops, it runs stops. I can live with that if that's what it wants to do. So the shorts had been paying off. Just make sure you take something out. Palantir, it ran some stops and then put in a lower high. I think waiting this one out until a little bit after 10 o'clock and trying not to get jiggled. If it's going to be a short failing that high, there'll be ways to get into that one. So I'm not going to rush back in to PLTR. The real question becomes, can Rivian hold on to that dip buy? So Rivian, it's bouncing now off of those previous highs from Friday. 16 is an obvious level to take some profit out in front of, and then it's a huge gap from there on RIVN. One other thing I wanted to get to was Apple. That's the one we haven't really talked about today. Clearly not going to get this 131 despite the market being weak. But Apple, Friday support was at 183.5. That could be a nice little spot if the market's starting to show some consolidation there. And we're liking the dip buys. It is almost 10 o'clock. You want to start looking at some of those levels that haven't come into play yet.
So as good as Tesla was there, it just drops back. Rips right back up. Ooh, I just put on another piece there. I don't want to hold this too much more now that it's so strong. I was like, what? That move was pretty hot there to the upside. So again, take the profit out, and we wind up basically flat there on Tesla because it does wind up going against us at the end all the way back up to 216. So there goes Tesla. Nice, huge move back up there. So yeah, the market really, not only did it bouncing pretty nicely now back up into to the upside of some of these plays. So we're just going to have to be very, very careful. There goes Tesla. Okay, so there it is, man, right back into the pre-market levels. So this was that sort of high that Tesla made just before we start dipping down. So right there, right off the open, 217, starting to go. We said that we wanted to probably stay long on some Tesla. That seems like that was a mistake to go short maybe in the first place. Look at that Google 131 long. That seems to be good. Microsoft 65 was a level that we were looking at. 66 is as low as that one got. Oh man, the market's still underneath though. I'm gonna try one more piece here if we can get it. Oh, nah, I just offered 39s. It's too bad. We'll offer down a little bit more. Okay, so we'll take another short here in Tesla just to see where we go. So let's see where this one wants to go. I'm going to give it to 217, that high right there. That's 217.50. I'm going to give it to 217. Let's see if it wants to break that level for Tesla. We reshorted it there.
Yeah, so as said, I'm almost thinking about reversing in Intel. I said now I'm going to tighten up the stop on it to this open top, which is about 47s. It actually is 47. I'm thinking about reversing. Why don't I just want the long if it's going to be relatively strong the way it is? So that's one. The second is going to be coin. We took some profit in front of a bounce on 89. Now it's going to retest VWAP. If it does another wick, like upside here, fail above 90 to VWAP, then I'll look for re-entry on the short in coin. This is a price area that I want to be looking short underneath that 91 and scalping until it breaks out that 89 level for Coinbase. But let's go over to the desk. You know what time it is. What's happening now, Brendan?
Downside action, guys, right across the board here for not only both the NASDAQ and the S&P. We're getting a bit of a pullback as well for energy. I mentioned there was quite the move out of the gate here for energy stocks on oil, up still 1% though. Overall, though, this was the note we sat down to this morning. Yeah, Moody's cutting their rating outlook on U.S. debt this morning. Pre-market, not a good look for the overall market initially, but there was a bit of a attempt to get back to positive territory. I was just noting Micron made a day low there. We got back below that low from Friday as well after a lawsuit was actually announced on Sunday. Patent infringement lawsuit against MU, dragging things down a little bit. Biden administration saying that they're expecting record air travel throughout the U.S. on Thanksgiving for the 3 days Thanksgiving holiday, and then Friday and over the weekend. So some of the airlines having a nice day. I mean, this one, Spirit, has been just absolutely destroyed, but back to the upside. So far this morning to the tune of 6+%, obviously involved in that deal as well. 445 was a thing early on for Netflix, trying to get back to the upside right now as well. Still down 0.85. ARM, a little bit weaker than the rest as well, trying to make a day low after what we discussed back on Friday for some of those. The first 30 minutes of the market open brought to you by our friends over at Surge Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million. Keep up to 90% of the profits. Program has simple rules, no time limits. SurgeTrader.com/TTV for 10% off.
There you go. And thankfully, well, I'll be thankfully for the one long. Rivian did bounce again about 1570. So a couple of wicks to the upside and downside here. So you're rejecting this high 1585, then underneath 70s it held VWAP. So we're longing more or less at 70 and getting out 80 to 85 until it gets to $16. If Rivian goes to $60 today, then at some point I probably got shut down going short. But if it gets to $16, I think we take another leg out. Well, I mean,
no, it wouldn't be good to be shut down. I just mean that.
No, I mean, there's no way that a stock like Rivian could get from that to 60 without probably shutting me down the way that I would look at it, because I think that would be nonsensical. Right. But for now, it's a strong name in a weak market, so let's respect that. Coinbase, I got a re-entry here. Was looking for it to break 90, fail above, and get back underneath. More or less did that with a wick, a lower high wick here to about 915. If it takes out VWAP, I think I just get out of this and stop rinsing and repeating this trade. Intel, as weak as the market is, seems to want to break it out. Yeah. So I'm going to get out, and I think we'll end up in a long in Intel. We'll see how it goes. There's room to 39, obviously. So anytime I see relative weakness in Intel, I try to join it. And let's be real, I made it come in with a short bias, but suddenly this name, despite being down 1%, it just hung out the range the entire time the market was going down and seems to want to break this out. So I got to respect that.
I have like a big time love-hate relationship right now with Tesla because like we just shorted right there 216.50 and got a bid down there at 215.75 for 75 cents of a win, and now it just rips right back up. So I feel like this name is super, super strong. There's no doubt about Tesla today, and we wrote down to stay long this name, and here we are short. We didn't write down stay long, but we wanted the long, and it looks like that 213, 214 area that we wrote down is going to be the spot. So now that we're short now at 40s, we've sort of been rethinking about life and everything, and we want to get something out back down in here into 216 right now flat. Almost. So we're sitting here at 216. Something. I'll tell you, it's 08. So hopefully we do get a move down. We almost got filled there. Okay, whoa, going down to 12. Let's just take a piece out. Look, we're 30 cents in the money. There it is right there. I'm not really feeling it too much. If it comes back in, it comes back in. Great for us. Hooray. All right, so AMD right now, that's a decent fill on the upside right there right now. So let's take, oh yes. Nice little move down right there. So we are currently in trouble with Apple and not much else. AMD, nice move down. We're short at 117. This is kind of like what we're trying to do right now is take these shorts on weaker names. I thought Apple was going to be a weak name. Appears not to be the case. So we're going to have to watch out for Apple as it's starting to go back upside right now, taking away some of the profits here for us. I was going to go short Apple until... I don't even have my stop out, but what was I waiting for? 185 break higher right there. So more shares to come in the 80s, but I thought Apple was relatively weak. It looks like it is the chip names, man. AMD is holding me afloat right now. I'll just tell it like it is, man. Like without this trade on, I mean, Apple's going against me and Tesla's giving me a heart attack. So other than that, there's really not much else happening. But Unity is making a move down as well. So good. So far, so good. My net is just kind of hovering right now. So it's like it's up and it's down. It's following this Tesla trade and it's following this Apple trade right now. We've cashed out of half of our AMD back down into the 60s. AMD is by far my best stock. Really traded that thing well today.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, that was a trap on Intel. Well, it could be. We'll see what happens in a second. But I got to watch out for the higher low that just got put on Coinbase. So same level for resistance at the 90. It just wicked it again, but there are higher lows being put in. If it can't get back down into 89, this one is the one that's going to be of concern. Intel on that reverse, get out. So I got out, got long, and it was right into VWAP for the dip. If this ends up being the top, then I got bamboozled by a relatively, it's a choppy name, but it looked like it was relatively strong, at least compared to everything else. And then the chips were also going into the upside, but I cannot give it a wide berth just because I happen to be in it. And then going back over to, I've been ignoring plug because it wasn't moving much, but it did this wick off the high, didn't get to 55, so I missed the re-entry thinking 55 was a level. On the bid here at VWAP, if I get filled, I think we start covering this one in front and then underneath. I should have been filled up here above 50, but I did not actually catch that. So yes, it's coming down and it's working, but I missed a pretty obvious reload there for myself on plug power on that short. Rivian, decent bounce, but it's still this 10 to 15 cent channel that we're trying to grab and trying to respect. So Rivian, it looks like it's going to hold up pretty well. It's a nice little bull flag, whatever you want to call it. Previous resistance holding up as support. If it takes out 16, this could get really, really nasty. I think to the upside, probably catching some people off guard when Tesla was dropping this morning, to be sure. Coinbase, looking for that fill down around 89.25. Then we'll ring the register. Congratulations! If you were short this one at the open, because when you look at setups, one of my favorite setups is it's a pop and fade. A lot of times you're looking at a pre-market high and all it has is the pre-market high. In this particular case, it was not just a pre-market high, it was also Friday's close where it rejected the top. So right at 92.92 was Friday's close. It wicked that, got just above 93 for a fail. That's like a 25-cent risk trade if you put the pop and fade on in Coinbase. But we're short the second short and not the first. Sometimes it's just how it is. If it wins, it wins. You got to be able to join it. Sometimes you got to buy high, sell higher. Sometimes you got to sell low, buy back lower. It doesn't sound as cool.
Buybacks.
That one doesn't sound as cool as buy high, sell higher, though.
No. Okay. Yeah. There goes Tesla. So let's go. We'll put some money back into our bag a little bit here because there goes Tesla back in. We did not reload this. We just kept on getting out. No more bids now before we see how far down Tesla can go here. So I still obviously like the name. Let's see where we go from here. Tesla downside, I'm hoping for anyways on that trade. AMD is really working. We keep talking about that, but the name that I'm most concerned about right now, and I think for good reason, is going to be Apple because it's starting to go now. So we're getting caught off guard here. Getting out at 185 would be something, again, that we're looking at right now. So a nice little move upside for Apple gets us more short. So we're waiting. I thought I was waiting. Yeah, we're waiting at 184.80. I'm going to cancel that. Put out some, whoopsies, that's AMD, no. Oh man, wrong stock. Okay, so we'll put something there. Look at all these ones printing, so that's why I kind of just.
Not those again.
Yeah, let's just wait for that. So I just went short by accident on AMD here, so I gotta get something out. We talked about that. If you have the wrong price, get it out right there. So all right, yeah, it's these little one prints. Look at this, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and they're all coming off the bid. Like they're all getting hit on this side. They're all greens. So watch out. Hopefully it does pull back in, but Apple definitely getting lifted here. Like look at the market. The market's not going, and Apple basically from the bottom to the top. Now we're here. So let's wait to see what happens with Apple. AMD short, Apple short. Unity, by the way, let's spin the money down there for Unity. Unity now, hey man, we haven't done well on Unity, but it's now $1 in the money. So that's done well. Tesla, good job getting out of that one. It's really, I'm just sort of hitching my wagon right now to this stupid Apple that just wants to keep going up. We're out of the money now, 30 cents.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away, is what I've been told over and over again. So third time is maybe a charm. We're going to find out here on Rivian as it bounces higher lows again, but entry at 70, so it doesn't matter where it bounces. I keep getting in at 70, trying to take some out at 80, and then hold for the dream, the whatever you want to call it. I can't really say the dream because that's a different EV maker than Rivian. Coinbase, it's still putting in higher lows. So I ended up taking some out here at 89.5 instead of right in front of the quarter mark. And again, it's because it put in that higher low. Want to make sure we're rinsing and repeating in a good way and not the bad way, which is I don't want to be sitting here as it's grinding higher and getting more aggressive as it's putting in higher lows. So I got to think about it this in the other direction. Don't want this breaking out and looking nasty. The NASDAQ is now back above 15.5. So Intel came back to the top end of the range. For some of the shorts, you want to take profits. Brendo, what up, bud?
One we were talking about back on Friday, guys, the trade desk, TTD, down again, 2.8% if you remember. Yeah, bad miss for them. Did try to get back to the upside on Friday, coming off of those earnings. Cathie Wood apparently picking up a better part of $40 million worth of this on Friday, which is now obviously under the water after she sold about $55 million worth of Grayscale's Bitcoin trust.
Cathie, always making moves.
GBTC,
Always making moves. Okay, so Tesla. What? Where's my stop? Oh, I wasn't there. Okay, so the stop should have been at 217 there. I don't know what happened. It just got blown right through there. So we're going to have to find out what's going on with that trade. But there's a stop there on Tesla. So we got to sort of just regroup here and figure that out. So if you want to take it, Neil.
I got it. Just
I don't
give
have
me.
much going on.
No, I got it right here. It was a bounce on Intel. So there's the reversal. It's breaking out. This is why you dip buy instead of breakouts. It's clear upward channel, but it's not really taking out that top just yet. I thought I can't. I hate having back-to-back orders. I only want one offer on Intel, so I'm going to cancel the 52. I have a 51 and a 52. No point for that. If it breaks 50, I want one out on those stops, and then I want one out in front of the pre-market low, and then we hold on to see how far this can go. Rivian, the bounce on Rivian, it's not nearly as steep here, which is weird because the market's strong. So whatever the bounce is off VWAP, I'm going to take that first move. It was like 10 cents right away. I'll take the 6 and then hold for that high of the day break, just continuing to ride the trend on that. Plug power. Okay, it's holding underneath VWAP. So let's go bigger picture here for plug. If this ends up being the range all day, fair enough. Then you got mid to high 40s down into 32, but I'm holding something for the bottom break to get to $3 on plug. I want to be net short this. If it gets to 3, then I want to still be short this stock is the goal today. And NIO, I'm still on the bid at $7. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I think I want to respect the fact that it looks like an absolutely golden level. It's a big level on the daily chart. You can pull it up there. Affirm. There's a bit of a bounce, so no flat bottom break for Affirm underneath 22. Does not take out Friday's low. I'm getting my hands away from this because I don't think there's anywhere that I would, unless it's 23.50, that bump on Friday at about 11 o'clock, there's no level that I want to mess with. Forget about 23 for now. It's got to be this 23.50 area. When a firm wants to go, it has no trouble running you over if you decide to be impatient and stubborn about it, which I find if there's a stock that I get impatient and stubborn with shorting, Affirm is on that list. Coinbase is sometimes on that list, although I don't think so today. And those are the ones you want to be extra. Just be diligent of the fact that I'm usually in early on that stock, so be really patient with it. Looks like we're going to see that 1590 on Rivian, as that's super strong. The NASDAQ only 0.5. It looks like it wants to go to the upside. I still only have Intel and Rivian long. I'm going to get to it in a second, but if we break back above the overnight lows, it's Meta that everyone's been hollering about. It's Meta that should have been the dip buy. It's Meta that's hunting the 330 level on the daily chart, which is, by the way, a triple top on the daily. So a long story short, Meta should have been a long, wasn't on my radar. Maybe you get a dip buy. I do not want to take a 330 break. I'd much rather play that level by getting a dip into it and then long into that 330 and then hold it all the way through. But that's the one that's a rocket ship to the upside. Triple top on the daily. That's not a small deal. No.
All right. So again, you have you don't put out the right stop orders, you wind up losing. So we got out at 217.50 there. We meant to put a 217 flat. Thought we had it, we didn't. So that's a fail right there for me. We're green on the day, but Apple right here starting to go up. I just put a bid at 65 and it literally went to 65 and then stopped. So again, like no word of a lie on that one. That's what happened. So that sucks, but temporarily we're still fine and waiting to see what happens. Apple right there, back in. Give me that 65 now. See, what's up with that? Why is it not hitting 65 there? Like, that's really crazy. All right, so there we go. We took some out there at 66. Okay, there now goes 65. So now comes Apple. Let's see. We'll take another 65 bid there. Hopefully this can fall back in. We've got a good short on now for Apple. Happy with where this name's going. It's Apple. We're short it. Hopefully this will fly back to the downside right now. Put some more bids on there, Sean, because you don't know where this thing is going. So right now it's Apple. Starting to go upside a little bit. We did reshort that. Apple now good, well in the pocket. AMD can really, honestly, man, we just got stopped out there and then it tanked pretty good. It's all good because of what we have here with Apple, but right now it's a nice downside move here for AMD. For Apple and AMD both coming back in. The name I need to be on here is Apple. I'm just fumbling here. 180.40. So again, we like this name short. We realize that it's down more than the market. It's down right now 1%, market down 0.6%. So you can see that Apple was weak. I thought they had a great quarter. I mean, I think everybody looked at not a great quarter, but the service revenue was nice. Apple had a huge move down. Now a nice move back up. I know the NASDAQ's been super hot, but Apple may be running out of steam a little bit here up at 186. So be careful with it. We're still net shorted. It's been a big day here for Apple if you've been short just now. But watch out, man. Those ones are still there. I still haven't, Neil, been able to figure that out. I don't know if you've seen them on anything.
Not really.
You've been looking at, but
it's typically on the big cap stocks where you see that kind of probing going on. And I'm trading like Coinbase. I never see it. Coinbase, Intel, Plug, Rivian. That's what I've been on. I haven't really strayed away from those at all. It was one trade in and out of Palantir pretty quickly. But other than that, we stayed in the pocket. We're still headed to the upside. We'll hit this one. We'll call it the Kincaid spike because tonight he's going to
a lot of spikes.
He's going to drop. Let's call it 6 catches for 84 and a touch. And then he doesn't really, I don't think he spiked last time. It doesn't matter. Rivian still headed to the upside, still looking relatively strong. I think this is going to be a good one. As long as the market can bounce. Remember, though, the market is not exactly bouncing. You got a nice little push up, and now it's fading a bit. I didn't go a third time on coin because it was putting in higher lows. This looks like it's going to resolve. That 90 entry is going to be a good one. Down 3.5%. It's still working into said downside. Plug, it's still in the pocket. Let's respect it. But I got to go over to, Pinduo Duo. First, let me just cancel my offer to go short above 111 at 112. We might get a chance here at VWAP. Clearly, it was a name I liked to the short side. Just never got an entry on this to sell the news after that singles day. If it presses into VWAP, that's where I would look next. But I'm not even sure we're going to get that. Don't feel like chasing it. Can't complain this morning. There was a couple of missed opportunities, but it's been, generally speaking, a good one with a little bit of patience. So got to be just as patient here with Pinduoduo. Rainmaker, I feel you. You said your fantasy team isn't doing well. Well, Sean and I got booted from that Wall Street Survivor League. I want to send a personal thank you to Joe Burrow and specifically to Tyler Boyd for dropping that easy touchdown for the win. That was especially nice of you to eliminate us, and also it wasn't just Cincinnati, we had some on Baltimore as well. So thank you very much for blowing that 2-score lead, Raheem. Baltimore. It's a big pool. I'm not.
Raheem. That guy loves the Ravens.
He talked all that crap about the Ravens, and then we put it on the Ravens and they lose. He owes us drinks.
Yeah, him and Sharif.
No, Sharif owes us like.
Yeah, Sharif owes us a lot.
I don't know, at this point, like a steak dinner. Where'd he go?
I think so. We'll see. Where'd he go? He went for his walk, I think.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to burn off those 12 eggs. Okay, so as we go, man, let's just keep on looking for opportunities. So right now you're breaking above. So actually on this Apple trade, although as much as I like it, let's just bid another 7. There we go. Let's just bid some more outs here. The market's starting to break higher. So we are clean. Tesla. It's crazy. It's not crazy. Everything's fine. But like to be red on Tesla is kind of funny because it's just ripping up. And then as I look over here at my board here, I was like Tesla 213 long. It's like the bottom was 212. Like you could have just waited out for that. Monster move upside right now. I still feel like the name that we want to short is going to be AMD. And maybe we want to put it on right now as that's making a move higher. Just do you want to stand in the way of this market right now trying to get back to green? We've seen what can happen when this market gets going. So, all right, it's 10. It's still early, man. I'm going to short this. It's still early. All right, let's go over to Brendo and see what he's up to. What is that high on AMD? I don't want to give up.
20 few small caps moving around for you once again this morning. This one we've talked about many, many times before. MSP Recovery, which is LIFW, tried to go again this morning. Already come all the way back down to 680 here, but just hanging out. Not a lot in the way of a reason why for this LIFW again this morning, but just keep that in mind. TIVC up on a positive bestgrowthstocks.com note this morning. So a huge move for them back to 220 for TIVC. And then another, at one time, this was a Kathy Wood name. I'm actually not sure if she still has this, but Stoneco, also a small cap, trying to get back to 12 bucks here. Nice move for them coming off positive report, guys.
I do remember that.
I remember Stoneco, that 100%. Not one we generally look at it that much, but 16 on Rivian just broke. Where are we headed to next? Going to go to the 15-minute chart for you guys. Obviously, 16 is a nice round number. You got to get to about 16.20. Going back to Thursday. Thursday was like the Rainmaker day. Rainmaker, if you were short, it was. But the Rainmaker day for Rivian and Tesla. So if it gets to 16.20, that would be the logical spot that you could see a pullback. So I'm holding these shares for rejection to that level. I won't put a trailing stop in just yet. I think I want to clear 16 before I make that decision. So Rivian good. Intel only 5 cents in the money. It's Meta though. About that dip buy, Meta doesn't want to give you any dip buys today. Pretty much forget about it. Although it just broke 330. Remember that 330 on the daily chart? It broke out, got to 331.25 on the way back in. If it holds previous resistance as support, I think that's where you usually want to join some trends in there. So if this holds 330, it looks pretty good. Generally at this time, I usually prefer VWAP, but that's a level from here on Meta. On the daily, that is 330. That is 330. It's at 330. You got to respect a level like that. If I'm gonna lose long, I wouldn't mind doing it if we hold this 3. If it bounces off 330, I'm just gonna punch long and then look for the entry here. The